All righty. So today we are doing regular group coaching. I don't have a specific prompt for you. If you need one, I would love to check in and see where you're at with your Enigma and your first 30-day challenge that we initiated about a month ago. I think we should be about at your 30-day mark. So I'd love to know if you need some help on what do I want coaching on. We can coach on that. Also, we have new people coming in. And so if you're like, what is she talking about? A 30-day challenge? Don't worry. We will talk about that in your onboarding call. And then it's also in module 0 point, in module 0, it walks you through what your 30-day challenge is. So we will talk about that. We did a, nervous system workshop yesterday with Chelsea, and that one was great. It's a good one to help you understand your nervous system from somebody else explaining it to you. I don't think she did say anything drastically different than what I would tell you, but also how to do maybe some more focused meditation. I thought that her meditation was really helpful, especially if you feel like you have a kind of a squirrel brain and your brain, like my brain is very squirrely. It goes all over the place. That's not necessarily your problem with meditation. That's what meditation practice is noticing that your brain gets distracted and goes somewhere else. You notice it and you bring it back. That's the practice of meditation. But this one was very focused on do this and do this and do this. So it allowed for less time for your brain to get squirrely. So I enjoyed that. I don't have the replay up yet, but I will get that up today. And then that will also always live in the nervous system tools program inside Practice Better. And it will be in your weekly update email that you'll get on Friday as well. Easter is coming up this weekend, so that usually means that we have, more candy around. We are probably going to eat foods that we wouldn't maybe normally eat over the weekend. So just like Christmas, just like Thanksgiving, just like any other holiday or tradition that you have, there's not a set of rules that I ever give you to do. The thing that I want you to focus on is how do you want to feel at these events, knowing that it's traditional, knowing that maybe it's religious, whatever Easter is for you. How do you want to feel when you're there, both socially, emotionally, physically, all of the things. And then that's how you make your food decisions. Most of us wouldn't go into it saying, I want to feel weighed down and miserable, and I want to be sleeping on the couch at 3 p.m. Most of us will say, I want to leave feeling confident. I want to leave feeling proud of what I chose to eat and what I chose not to eat, or how much I chose to eat. And I feel good. I want to go for a walk this afternoon. I want to enjoy in the sunset and enjoy the sunshine. Hopefully we have some. So those are usually the things that you would say. I would assume that you're saying when it's coming to those things. And so then you make your food decisions based on that. So that means look for the protein at that meal, look for some vegetables. If you come from a family that doesn't eat vegetables at these types of gatherings, be the person that brings vegetables. Go on Pinterest and just search vegetable side dishes for Easter. And then you'll get, results that will be more seasonal type of things, because obviously we have vegetables in season right now that maybe aren't in season during Christmas time and whatnot. Or get a veggie tray, like super easy to do. Every time I go to Costco, I get a vegetable tray, whether it's a Tuesday in March or if it's an actual family gathering or something like that. I always get a veggie tray. So be the person that brings vegetables, so you have that option. And then choose from there on things that you want to enjoy, but also don't make you feel miserable and you're not going to end up with regret later. You don't have to track that meal. Don't worry about that. It's hard to track it anyway. If you want to track it to see maybe where your protein is at, if you're guesstimating on that, I think that's fine. But just know that your macros are probably going to look a little messy on that day, and that's not a problem. It's one day. Sometimes we feel a little lost then on what are we supposed to do the rest of the day. If my macros are messy for my Easter brunch, what do I do for the rest of the day? You just eat how you normally would. So if you have a rather large meal for Easter brunch or lunch, then what would you normally eat in the evenings, and follow your hunger and fullness cues there as well. So if you normally wouldn't sit down and have a bowl of popcorn for dinner on a Sunday, then don't sit down and have a bowl of popcorn because you ate too much earlier on in the day. You feel confused on what to eat for dinner. Just eat what a normal meal would be. You might have to find different time to meal prep as well, because if you're going to be gone on Easter, or you're going to have people at your house for Easter, that's probably going to take away from a normal meal prep time. So you're going to need to figure out, are you going to do it on Saturday? Are you going to do it? Are you going to maybe bulk things up on Monday so you have extra leftovers? Or are you going to be strategic and take some Easter leftovers and figure that out too? I love using like leftover, like if you're having a ham, use leftover ham, use that as your protein and throw it in like a bag of salad, or have some of those leftover veggies, things like that. Ham can actually be a really good salad in, or sorry, a good protein in your salads mixed with some sweetness, because it has some saltiness too. So you get saltiness and sweet. You can make a really good salad combination with it. So think ahead to that as well, so it doesn't sneak up on you and then you feel rather lost. Other than that, it's business as usual. Thank you for being patient with me as I came back from vacation and responded to messages, and allowing for a week away. It was wonderful to unplug. I literally didn't even know where my phone was most of the time. And so it was great. I took like 4 pictures. And so that it's wonderful that my friends take pictures, because I was like, I don't even want to know where my phone is. I don't want to go on social media or be tempted to. And so somebody else can take pictures. Alrighty, Amy, go ahead.
Sorry if my dog is barking. There was somebody who was just leaving our house. So
Oh, you're good.
There we go. There we go. I guess I have just been kind of on the struggle. I'm nutrition Nancy, but have been on the struggle bus with it, even with the the commitment to do the 30-day challenge with pre-tracking. And I think the biggest thing is I added another job to my well, it's not part-time. I work 3 days a week in healthcare. So it's just been doing a lot of training and onboarding. And then on top of it, the allergies are kicking my butt and I don't feel great. So I've just been struggling there. How do I get out of that struggle?
Okay. So why do you think you're actually struggling? Is it the like, if you were to explain how you feel, tell me that.
I feel like I don't have enough time in the day
Okay.
with work, doing my trainings, and more right now is not really even so much booking clients for travel. It's more just getting all the training in. And then once I get the training in, I have to have a meeting to go over that platform. And then on top of that, just normal mom duties, and then just not feeling well. So I just feel like I'm going from one thing to the next thing, and
Okay.
then it's bedtime.
Okay. So when you say I feel like I don't have enough time, is that actually true? And we're talking about tracking. Do you not have enough time to track?
No, because it takes 2 seconds. I'm just not taking the time to do it.
Yeah. Because why?
Because I feel like it's one more thing on my plate. And then if I feel like it's one more thing on my plate to have to deal with, honestly. And then, I don't know. I think that's the biggest issue. I mean, my phone is with me. It's not that my phone is not with me. It's in my hand most of the time, but I feel like my mind's going in a million directions, that's the last place I think to go. And
Yeah. It's
maybe
the
that's
easiest.
doing that on purpose.
It's the easiest thing to say. I don't want to do that,
Yeah.
because it's not enjoyable. Also, it's not giving you any sort of like dopamine or instant reward, anything like that. Whereas like with your work and your like learning and stuff like that, you get a sense of completion when
Yeah.
you do it, right? You're like inching towards it, but this feels rather monotonous and not very rewarding to your brain. But when we say it's one more thing on my plate, do you want this thing on your plate? Do you want tracking on your plate? And why? Or why not?
I do, because I definitely know when I track, I do better. I mean,
Mhm.
I eat better. I overall feel better.
Mhm.
I think some of just not feeling well, I've just had like no appetite. Like I had to laugh at your comment about eating popcorn for supper, because on Sunday night I'm like, I just am not really that hungry. I don't feel like making anything, guys. We're having popcorn for supper.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. And because I'm like, I'm not hungry. Like I just don't have an appetite not feeling well. So I don't know if that's part of it too. Or if I do, it's like the healthy stuff isn't what sounds good when you don't feel good.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It doesn't sound good. You're looking for a way to feel better with food,
Yeah,
but popcorn isn't gonna, or whatever it is, isn't gonna make your allergies feel better,
correct.
right? It's just going to like bridge you to the next decision of making, choosing your foods.
Yeah.
But also if your body is likely more inflamed right now, which brings your energy levels down, it's inflamed from allergies, what does your body actually need?
The good food.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really just taking that time and giving your brain some direction on what time of your day you're actually going to be planning your food. Because
Okay.
if you're just leaving it up to, I'm just going to get it done tomorrow, it's going to just continue to get pushed back because you wake up and your brain is like, what can I do right now to make me feel good? That's what your brain always says when it wakes up.
Yeah.
At least that's what mine always does. And so we want to make sure that we show our brain like, yes, you have these things that you're going to do and they're important. And this is when we're doing them. And you do that with your food tracking too. So are you doing any time blocking right now?
I have not been writing out my time blocking. No.
That might be helpful too, because your brain thinks that you have too much to do and not enough time. And that's
Mhm.
probably not true,
Okay.
right? Because it's trying to figure out how to have this new job and balance everything else in your life
Yeah.
because you brought an influx of work in for yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think before you were sitting around looking for things to do.
No.
So it's not that you had an abundant amount of time already. So now you've really got to lay it out for yourself so your mind really understands, oh, maybe I do actually have enough time for the things that are important to me.
Mm.
Or maybe you'll find that I really am struggling with time. And then you can be choosy on what you decide to use your time for. And that
Okay.
means you're going to have to say no to some things.
Yeah.
And that actually puts you in the driver's seat of knowing what to say no to and what to say yes to if you really don't have enough time.
Okay.
So I would sit down and do that too. And today's Wednesday, so it seems like a day we wouldn't do any time blocking. We would wait for Monday, but I would say start today.
Okay.
Yep. Show your mind like this is what we have for time and things are fine. Or if they're not fine, then make those decisions.
And I'm actually off work until next Tuesday. So I'm like,
Oh, yes.
like have a maybe feel like there's a little end in sight.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I would do that too, so that you know
Okay.
exactly, and then decide when you're going to sit down and track your foods for the day and just be like, this is just when it is. I'm not redeciding on the time. I'm not redeciding on when I do it. I'm not redeciding any of it. I'm just going to do it. And just that allows for just so much less confusion.
Yeah.
You just hold yourself to it and stop thinking about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Good. Yes, you're welcome. Okay. Does anybody else have go ahead and raise your hand if you want coaching today. Michelle said, I've been feeling that way for the last week and I feel that tracking is easy, but holding myself accountable to the tracking is more in my mind than actually tracking. Yes. So Michelle, you're thinking about tracking versus just doing the tracking, I think is what you're saying. And yes. So think about like how much time and energy you're using thinking about I should be tracking, but I'm not tracking. I should do this, but I'm not doing this. I will say first, I'm like, I totally feel this week because I'm back from vacation and I feel like there's so much to do or so much to be caught up on in all areas of my life that I'm like, oh, I'm just going to figure it out for today. Oh, I'm just going to focus on my protein. I'll just let it be what it is. And I spend more time thinking about tracking instead of just going into the dang app and putting it in there and like just moving on with my life. One of the other things that I have noticed that I do is that if I don't track at all the beginning of the day, it allows for me to change my mind in the evenings, or not even change my mind, or just to make a decision in the moment about what my evenings will look like for food. So that means, have I been sneaking, Amy, you'll resonate with this, some of my kids' Dots pretzels lately, while he eats them as a snack because he's eating them. And I haven't really given myself any definition on what I'm doing or not doing for the day. So it's like sneakily finding a way to get those foods in and to just let like dopamine behaviors take over when I don't actually want to be eating Dots pretzels. I'm not like before I went on vacation, I never ate Dots pretzels. Like they just never even crossed my mind. And now all of a sudden I'm eating them. And my kid was eating a donut for breakfast the other day. And I was like, that donut smells so good. Before vacation, I wouldn't have even like, it wouldn't have crossed my mind. That's one thing with vacation that I want you to know is so normal is the dopamine seeking behaviors when you get back. And because some of you are, I think, leaving on vacation soon, or maybe you've just gotten back. Hold on 1 minute. My Roomba has come into my office and she is noisy. Because when you, before you go on vacation, you think about vacation all the time. You think about being gone, not having responsibilities, doing fun things. And then you go on, and that's all dopamine, right? Thinking about vacation, every time you think about it, you get a little dopamine hit. And then being on vacation is just an dopamine overload. It's everywhere. And, there's alcohol, there's sugary foods. For me, I was with my friends, so we were having fun all day. Like they were around all the time. We were doing fun things and fun activities, and it was just a lot of dopamine. And then you come home and there's like there's no dopamine anymore. It's like gone. And it feels like sometimes it just really brings down your energy because you have to focus so much on things that aren't fun anymore, and they aren't interesting, and they're not giving you that little like boost. And we have to create that ourselves, and it feels like walking up a hill with some bricks on your feet, and it feels like a lot of work to get that momentum back. But once you do that, once you do those hard things initially, especially right away in the mornings, and you start walking up that hill and letting it feel hard and letting it feel wrong and letting it be like blah, then the weights start to come off of your feet, and now you're walking faster and quicker, and pretty soon you're at the top of the hill, and then it feels easier again, right? You start to find normal joys in your normal life again. It can be very normal to come back from vacation and have maybe some blues and maybe a little bit of depression or maybe a little bit more anxiety. And that's just all like those chemicals in your brain trying to normalize and reset themselves. Okay, Michelle, you had a foot surgery last Wednesday and you're bored and you're sitting a lot with your foot elevated. No reason not to track and plan. I did the reset button this morning. Good. Yes, and I can totally understand, like sometimes when you are bored and you have less to do, you do less. Like you think, what is the phrase of if you need something to do, give it to a busy person. And that's just because they've already like got the engine going, right? So they got the engine going. It takes less work for that inertia to complete another thing and another thing. Whereas if you're not doing anything like what you're doing right now, is you are purposely resting with your foot up, it can be hard to even just do the very small things because there's no inertia there. So you just got to remember, like, oh, it's just going to feel harder because I have so much space and time to be able to do what I want when I want. And the feeling of boredom, you're looking for excitement, you're looking for dopamine things, and that doesn't look like going into your app and putting your foods in there. So just holding yourself to that. Same thing with you, Michelle, that I said to Amy, decide what you'll do and or when you're going to be tracking those foods, and maybe put it in your phone as an alarm to remind yourself, or know that time of day that you're going to stick to it. So, all right. Nobody else has their hand up. Raise your hand for coaching today. We can talk about your Enigma 30-day challenge, where you are on that. If you've completed a 30-day challenge, I really need to look back and see when did we start this last round. What will your next 30 days be? Do we want to do another 30 days of your first one? Or do you feel like actually my 30 days of pre-tracking my food, or my 30 days of my sleep and morning routine, whatever it was that you stuck to, did my 30 days like seal it in for me? And I feel like I've got this, and maybe I want to move on to another thing. And so then you would just decide, is the next thing, like the second thing on your enigma that you would be able to relate most to. Like maybe you're having some trouble sleeping, or maybe stress is something that you want to start to work on and you feel like you've got your nutrition. So deciding what the next one will be for you, or you can go back and do the first one all over again. The 30-day challenges are not mandatory, but they're a tool there to help you establish the things that you want to be establishing to get you to the next step. And so that that habit just becomes very easy for you, and it doesn't cause so much like inertia, I guess, that requires in the beginning. And it starts to become just who you are, so you can move on to the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing. And over time evolves you into the person that you want to be. Okay, nobody needs coaching today. Like I wasn't here last week. I'm sure something came up. I'm trying to think, what have I been coaching on in the chats? Um, Not a whole lot, honestly. It's been a lot of protocol changes. So those are specific to people. Oh, here's one thing. Wherever you are in the program, so many of you are going to be kind of starting recently. And so if you're starting recently, this is just a gentle reminder to make sure to take some pictures for me. There is a module inside Mindfully Well that talks about how to do your photos. It's in the welcome module, how to do your photos, how to do your measurements, and upload those into Practice Better. Practice Better is a HIPAA safe platform, so you don't have to worry about your photos going out into the World Wide Web, getting into the hands of somebody. So you can put them in there, and you can delete them off your phone if you want to after that, but it shows you how to take those pictures. And then if you started in January, this is a great time to take some pictures as well, because we're about 3 months in to where you started in January, and this would be a great time. And I know most people have been reverse dieting in the past 3 months, and now we're just getting to our fat loss phase. So if you are getting to a fat loss phase right now, you always want to take your photos and your measurements before you start a fat loss phase. I try to always remember to remind you to do that, but this is just a good broadcast to everybody. Before you start a fat loss phase, please take some photos and upload them into Practice Better, so we have them along with measurements. Because like this morning, I was doing a follow-up on somebody in the alumni program, and her weight hasn't changed at all since January. And she's been with me for a while, probably a year, probably longer than that, honestly. Longer than a year, actually. And so I asked her to send me some pictures, measurements, and her photos clearly show that she has body recomposition. Her photos look beautiful. Her body fat has definitely gone down. Her waist is smaller. Her hips are smaller. She's lost several inches. I can't remember all of it off of the top of my head, but her weight hasn't changed at all. So that's why we want to see those photos, because Otherwise, what I would have done if I didn't have those photos is that I would have put her back into a reverse diet. Cause I would have been like, well, your cut's not working. Because your weight hasn't changed if I was only going by that. And if you're, if you don't make progress with the fat loss phase, what we have to do is we have to kind of start back and build some foundations back in, and we reverse diet back up so that we can go into a fat loss phase. I would have had her do that. And when actually her body's making great changes and she wouldn't have had to come out of her fat loss phase yet. So it is important. I know you don't want to take pictures. Nobody's super excited about taking pictures just because of a feeling that you're going to have. We're afraid that we're going to feel like a failure. We're afraid we're going to see something that makes us feel a bit uncomfortable, makes us feel like we're not doing it right, makes us feel like we're wasting time and we're wasting money and that this isn't working. But remember that all of those are just thoughts that you're creating. It doesn't mean that it's reality or truth. And to be honest, 9 times out of 10, when somebody takes pictures and sends them to me, even if they compare the pictures themselves, they think that the pictures don't look the way they should look until I point out to them, compare this to this and look at this, and compare this to this and look at this. And then you start to actually see it. We are our own worst critics. We won't see the good changes the first time we look at photos because our mind is just there to protect us. And it sounds like, wouldn't it want to protect me by telling me that I'm doing a good job? No, because it wants to protect you from reality. It wants to protect you from a feeling of a failure. It feels like the feeling of failure would be worse than just saying that you are where you were before. And so it'll easily deter you from seeing progress into seeing not progress in a way to protect yourself. Daphne, the photos will go. Let me look at my app to see what it looks like in your app, but it's in documents. Okay, hold on. I gotta log out of this account and into my client account.
I see my documents, and then we just upload the photos. There's no
It should be. Yeah. Yep. That's it. It's just in documents. Is it not work?
Oh, okay. Do you have to send us a reminder? Oh, I see. We have to create a new folder, or?
No, you don't have to. You can, but you don't have to. Because I can see in there if it's a photo or not when I log in.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sorry, I can't get logged in on my phone, of course, right now. But then that will live in there, and you can always message me as well. Oh, there's a question. I forgot to look at questions for today. You can always send me a reminder or a message that you uploaded photos, because honestly, I get like hundreds of notifications in here a day, and sometimes I miss it. Okay, let me look at my questions. I forgot to do this. Okay, so Abby said, first, I want to thank everyone for asking questions. I'm always amazed how many questions others have that I too haven't even realized it. Yes, that is why I have this in a hybrid of a group and a one-to-one. Because I always tell people when they're coming into the program, sometimes people are hesitant about joining a group. Totally get that. But I did one-on-one coaching for many years. And so I would have clients with me for, an entire year, sometimes 18 months or 2 years. And so if you think about, like, they met with me weekly for 12 months, let's say they were with me for a whole year, well, they would probably bring me maybe 2 problems a week max. And if you think about 2 problems a week max, that's like 100 problems they would bring me in a whole year. Well, now I've taken a program, and most of you, when you're with me for like 6 months at a time, and we've multiplied that, like there's 41 people, I think, in the program right now. We multiply that times 41 problems that you have the opportunity of hearing different questions. Now you get so much more of an immersive experience versus just your problems, and just your perception is such a small piece of the pie. Now, when we open it up, now you get so much more, because it's, as you know, it's not just the direct relationship between me and you that creates the change. It's everything together, and hearing other people's questions and other people's perspectives, and just hearing then my brain being able to coach people on all of those different things. Because my brain is just one brain as well. I can't sit here and think about all the problems that all 40 of you have, right? You all have to bring them to me so that I can, turn the wheels and get you an answer. Anyway. All right. I've been doing a protein shake and a banana or half a banana before workouts. Sometimes I notice I feel stronger during a workout. This week, I've really noticed I feel so much better when the workout is over, not totally depleted, just feeling good. I love it. I try to do a full 30 minutes before the workout as opposed to right before, so I don't feel like it's going to come up during the workout. Sometimes I do it 45 minutes to an hour before. Is this okay? Is this still happening during the workout? Good question. Okay, so to recap, she's basically asking, how far in advance is it okay to have my pre-workout and it's still working towards my workout? So 30 minutes is usually about ideal, especially when we're just doing a banana, which is a quickly absorbing food, with your protein shake, which is also a quickly absorbing food. I tend to think once we get to an hour that it's probably starting to move its way out, and it's not being directly absorbed into your bloodstream and moves straight into your muscles. So 30 minutes would be ideal. 45 minutes is probably okay, not terrible, but you might be on the brink there, but I would try to keep it less than that, ideally. Now, that being said, if it's 45 minutes or an hour or nothing, then I choose the 45 minutes to an hour instead of nothing. So, the other thing too is that everyone digests their food at different rates. So some of you, I mean this in the nicest way, have terrible digestion. We're working on it, right? And your digestion is very slow and very sluggish. And so your banana and your protein shake might stick around longer because your digestion is very sluggish. Some of you have great digestion, there's no problems there, and you might be digesting it in 30 minutes or less. I can speak from my experience when I first started lifting weights. Well, I wouldn't say first started. So when I was doing bodybuilding, so that was 2017, 2018. So I don't know how many years, 7, 8 years ago. My digestion was very fast and my metabolism was very fast. And so I could eat something, and I could eat a pre-workout meal like that. Actually, I would have a pre-workout meal, honestly, with 50 plus carbohydrates and 30 plus protein. And I would be hungry, like starving in an hour, and feel like kind of shaky and icky by the time I got to eating my post-workout meal. So that is just to say we all have different digestive systems. We all have different metabolisms. So it's not a hard rule of it must be 30 minutes, but 30 minutes would probably be ideal, especially if you're noticing that you just have that basic good feeling. You're not totally depleted, but you feel like you're ready to eat. That tells me that that was probably a good amount of time for the pre-workout meal. But that being said, if it's 45 minutes to an hour, it's still doing something versus nothing. All right. That's the only question I got, I think. Look at this one. Oh, maybe I have another one. Okay. I think this is Abby too. So continuing with the reverse diet protocol, can you explain how this helps better with fat loss? Good question. Making my body continue to feel safe. I've been really focusing on hitting macros and 1,800 calories for the last month. I feel like I have a good go-tos each day to hit this now. If I go up to 1,900 calories, is there a simple thing to add every day, or will the macros change enough that I need to reset my typical foods? Okay. So Abby, and I messaged her this morning too on her reverse diet. So reverse dieting, remember, is simply increasing the food amounts that we're having from maybe down here, slowly moving it up. to up here, so that we are building muscle. We are creating safety within your body by giving it enough foods and enough of the right kinds of foods. And then also the increase in food amounts, which is the increase in energy, will naturally raise your metabolic rate, which makes fat loss much easier. So all of those things, we're just basically repairing metabolism and preparing your body for a fat loss phase. Otherwise, what tends to happen is if we put you right into a fat loss phase and your body isn't ready for it, it goes nowhere, and we wasted time, and we've also contributed more into lowering your metabolism. So we want to take care of your metabolism. So that being said, that is the purpose of continuing to reverse diet. So if you just think about, like, if you were at 1,800 calories and we went into a fat loss phase, we're probably creating a deficit of maybe 300 calories per day. And in order to create that calorie of 300, or that deficit of 300 calories, we would have to move to 1,500 calories. And I don't really have a lot of wiggle room from there. So 1,500 calories doesn't really produce the results that we want. We could go down to 1,400. I don't like that. And honestly, I have one client that I can think of in the last like 2 years that I've actually gone that low for. So then we're just kind of like, then we've kind of set ourselves up to get the fat loss phase. It doesn't last very long, and we might have to reverse diet again, which will then create more frustration with you, and you'll be annoyed and you won't want to do it. So if we get you up to 1,900 calories, now your metabolism is functioning at 1,900. I might not even have to go as low as, might not have to go as deep with a 300 calorie deficit, because your metabolism is naturally running higher. So a little bit less of a cut might actually produce the same results as what a bigger cut would do. And so now I'm just basically conserving your energy. And so maybe now we can just go into a 200 calorie deficit or 250. And now we have a lot more wiggle room, because now we're only at maybe 1,700 calories, 1,650. I have more wiggle room there later on, right? So now we can stay in a fat loss phase longer without hitting a plateau or needing to adjust. So in order to make this work for you, I think I gave you an extra 5 grams of protein. So that's not going to be anything significant that's going to drastically change your life. The biggest thing is that, you'll just add another half an ounce, maybe. I don't even think it would be that. You might not even notice that it puts a lot of effort into getting that extra 5 grams of protein. And then the rest I actually put into your carbohydrates. And so you have an extra, I think 25 grams of carbohydrates. And the easiest thing to do here is to take whatever carbohydrates you're having throughout the day, just increase them a tiny bit, or just add an extra piece of fruit in there anywhere. Because fruit is going to be all carbs, very minimal fat, very minimal protein, nothing that will change your tracker by any stretch. And so just add in a piece of fruit for one of your snacks or a meal or something like that, and you'll easily be able to get those carbs in. So it should be easy peasy for you. Okay. I still don't have anyone with a hand up. So you guys are just easy to please today. Or you don't remember how to be coached, or was I gone too long? I'll give you another minute here, because I've been talking the whole time and I don't know what else to tell you. Okay. Hey, look at that. All right, Daphne.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a similar question to the last question that you have. How long
Yeah.
are we going to reverse diet?
Reverse dieting, I usually take you up to 18 to 2,000 calories. And I know that you are further away from that. And that I will say is okay, because you are losing weight in your reverse diet.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
so I've been calling it a reverse diet for you because we are slowly adding in foods, but I do think that all of these bumps in your intake, actually, you're still in a technical calorie deficit than what you were before.
Okay.
I just think likely what was happening before was that you were significantly under eating on some days and probably significantly overeating on other days. And so your overall intake was probably likely up here, but I started you down here because that's what your mind was thinking was safe, was down here. So we put you down here, and then so we're slowly adding in. So overall, your consistency, you're probably still in a calorie deficit.
Okay, that's why I'm still able to lose weight. Okay.
Yeah.
So eventually, I'm not going to be losing weight because I won't be in a
Probably not.
calorie deficit.
Mhm.
Got it. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. That was my question. Thanks.
Okay, good. Rachel.
Okay. Hi. So
Hi.
I'm just starting. So
Yeah.
I guess my question is I've started with the MyFitnessPal stuff. Do you recommend the premium package with it, or is there like an easy way to really do it without that?
Yeah. Okay. Somebody sent me a message. So the premium does make it easier to, it just makes your life easier because you get to scan and you get to set your actual macro into grams versus percentages. And then also the ads aren't on there, which are a pain in the butt. But somebody told me about a hack. I can't remember. Let me look. I think it was Jen. Okay. If you set your profile that you're from the UK, they don't charge a software fee and you can scan on the MyFitnessPal without the yearly subscription. Okay. I don't really know what all that means. You probably still don't get all the benefits of premium though. It sounds like it just means that you can scan.
Okay.
So, I pay like my personal one, I pay for yearly just because it's like $80 and it makes my life easier.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I pay for things that make my life easier.
Okay. Another question is, and maybe I'm overthinking it. So if I was going to do more of the Nutrition Nancy Enigma, the pre-tracking, is it, in my head, I was like, oh, do I have to pre-track basically a whole month, or is
No.
it like day by day?
Day by day. So you just decide, I recommend deciding what day or what time of the day you're going to be pre-tracking your foods. So either choose in the morning or the night before bed. You're going to choose your entire day of foods for the next day. Okay. And then you just do it for 30 consecutive days.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Don't do it. And I've had that question before, so I think I need to clarify that somewhere. Good. Anything else?
No, I think that's.
And we have your one-on-one today, right?
Yep.
Okay.
2:30.
Okay. Sounds good. Alrighty. Anybody else? Daphne said premium all the way. It's impossible to deal with the app otherwise. Yes. They do make it difficult. I will say that. I've even noticed like I don't have premium on my desktop when I'm like looking at your guys's journals. And I've noticed that the ads, they like see where my cursor is and then put the ad where their cursor is. I have to like wait for the ad to load before I can move my cursor so that I don't click on the ad. I click on ads all day long because they constantly are putting the ad where my cursor is. I've noticed that recently. I'm like, that is very smart of you as a business owner, but also a PIA for me. All right. I don't have any more questions. So I will let you all go. And I'll get the upload for the nervous system class that we had yesterday. We're going to have another one in early May. I think the first Friday in May, Chris Ann is going to do another one. And so we'll have that. Otherwise, I think it's business as usual around here. So message me if you need anything, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.